So,
Okay.
thank you. Let's move forward. We'll call this meeting to order. Let's do a roll call and determination of quorum. Do we have folks on Zoom, Denise? Okay. We might have folks popping on, but let's do a roll call, if you don't mind starting.
Sure, just
It's
state
just-
my name.
Yeah,
Dan Maddox.
Steve Denny here.
Greg Campbell here.
Mike Hanna here.
Excellent. We have three members. Dan's a member, right?
3 of the 5 voting members. Yep, we're going to swear Dan in next.
Cool. So we have 3 members. So we have a quorum. So we're good to go there. Now we need to do the oath of office for Dan.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Dan Maddox,
I, Dan Maddox,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
as well as the ordinances of Madison County and Pendleton, Indiana,
as well as the ordinances of Madison County and Pendleton, Indiana.
and that I will faithfully,
And I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and diligently
and diligently
discharge the duties of the Redevelopment Commission
discharge the duties of the Redevelopment Commission
of the Town of Pendleton
of the Town of Pendleton
according to law and to the best of my ability.
according to law and the best of my ability.
Just sign this, you are
Sure.
official.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Excellent. We welcome Dan Maddox to the RDC.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you for participating.
Thank you.
Approval of meeting minutes. Has everybody had a chance to see the minutes from the last meeting? Aside from Dan, or did you?
I did see that, yes.
Cool. That's right. Denise sent you a whole book full of stuff, didn't she?
Lots of stuff, lots of documents.
Lynn is on.
Oh, cool.
I don't see her, but I don't know if she's on the phone.
Are you with us, Lynn?
Can you hear us?
You said she was going to zoom in. Keep trying on that.
I forget, it says 3% participants. Does that include us? Oh, there she is.
Lynn, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I think you're muted, Lynn.
It might be our. That just happened last night.
Can you hear me?
Great. Tell her that it might be on her end.
Lynn, this might be on our end. We're checking into it. Wave if you can hear me. Okay. So she can hear. And we'll count you as present. All right. Everybody read the minutes? Do I have a motion? Do we have any questions about the minutes from the last meeting? None. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting as written?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Excellent. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Shortcuts, 11 items, voice guide, off.
And whatever she said. Any opposed? Hearing none, the minutes pass from the last meeting. Old business, Interstate Quadrant Master Plan, staff update. Scott or Kayla?
All right, so the most recent document is available on Google Drive. I know I read through it. I had some very minor comments on 5 of the pages, just sort of in the beginning introduction portion of it. But at this point, it's mostly like little spell check things, thing here and there, maybe adding a sentence or rewording it. So I really do think this is about where it needs to be. The map's been updated a little bit, so take a look at it here and let us know where you want to go with this. I believe what we need to do after this board is happy with it is take it to the plan commission and via a resolution, amend our thoroughfare plan, so that this document is then part of that, comprehensive plan, just like the thoroughfare plan. So that this document is then part of our comprehensive planning, and then as we move forward, it will be used to develop sites in this quadrant area and make development decisions. Do you guys have any questions? Have you had a chance to look over it?
I thought it was fantastic. I found a couple little typos also, but I loved it. I thought it was very good. I did have a couple of questions that we can discuss, but you folks okay with this? You have questions?
I don't have any questions at this time.
It looks really good. I guess just for a little background information, what was the genesis of this, and when did this plan start? And
That's a good point.
I'll let you answer that one, Craig.
Well, so the TIF district currently, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Scott, the TIF district was the industrial area out here on 69. We expanded it several years ago to come into the town, and then we expanded it recently to go all the way to 67. So now the TIF district goes from Highway 67 to Interstate 69. We've had discussions for years in the RDC of what would we do with that property, especially the property out there where all the industrial stuff is. And the general inclination of the commission was to not have industrial stuff, but to start moving it more towards businesses, a campus type facility with medical or dental or law offices, things like that, to try to make it more than just an industrial park. And so we said, how do we do this? We started having conversations with many folks, especially Ken. I never can pronounce his last name. Riebenschneider. And we agreed to do a deal with them to put together a plan, and this is the plan that they put together for us. It emphasizes not only what we'll do out there, but what we would do for the entire TIF district. And so we started having these discussions several years ago about Pendleton is on the doorstep of Fishers and Geist now. It's moving quickly this way, and we should be in control of what we want for the town of Pendleton when the developers come, because they will be coming. They already are coming. And so this plan was a way for us and the townsfolk to say, okay, this is what we'd like to see with this property that we have that's going to be developed someday. So it was just a way to get ahead of it and do a little pre-planning and forethought stuff. And I think it's fabulous. I was just bowled over by it. I told you the other day at the workshop, I wish we were starting this tomorrow. The stuff on the other side of 69, I think it's fantastic, but that's gonna be a long way down the road, but we have a plan in place for it.
Yes.
What other questions?
that's very helpful. Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Yeah, it looks awesome. There are a lot of exciting things on here.
Lots of exciting things.
Is there a way I can get a hard copy printed out? I know it's a lot of pages, but I'd like to have a hard copy.
It's not as bad as some of the other plans we've been
Yeah.
working on.
Now, Scott and I discussed this earlier this week. I read several times in that plan where they suggested that the TIF district be expanded to help pay for everything that we want to do, especially into this new quadrant. And so I believe is this map the current TIF district, or with what might be the TIF district if we were to expand it?
This is the current TIF district.
Okay. So I guess a question I have that we can discuss or not discuss is can we expand the TIF district across 69 to take in this new quadrant.
Yes?
I don't have the map here in front of me, but are we talking about the economic development area, or are we talking about TIF district itself?
The new economic development.
Okay,
area.
yeah. I think it would make all the sense in the world to do that. That there just has to be certain findings made by this body to do that. There's a public hearing and things like that. And then you're allowed, as far as TIFing, you're allowed to go literally parcel by parcel and pick what you want. With the TIFing itself, you want to be very careful. We've talked about this before, but you can't repeat it enough. You have to be very selective in what you TIF, because while you get the gain in assessed value over the date you TIFed it compared to its future assessed value, if you would happen to TIF something that goes down in assessed value, you lose that. And so it's, you have to be, not that this board wouldn't be, but I have seen a couple redevelopment commissions in Indiana that just, well, let's just TIF everything. Well, there was an environmental catastrophe, and all of a sudden a property that was worth 7 figures became worth 3 figures.
Mhm.
And
Good
that
point.
was a kick to their TIF district. So,
Good
but as
point.
far as an economic development area, there are certain findings that you have to make, that it's an area in need of redevelopment. Very, very profound. But once that is done, I have seen municipalities even declare their whole town an economic development.
Really?
The entire municipal boundary. That way, when it comes to TIFing, we don't have to expand our economic EDA. We already have it. So I'm not recommending that at all. There's some political issues in doing that. But as far as an area that's not residential, I think it makes all the sense in the world. What do you want to do that area? You want to develop it. That's what we're for. So, no, I think it makes all the sense in the world. It's not that hard. It requires some legal descriptions and some drawings and a public hearing or two and going down the tracks. And then when you do get development, that's the time you TIF it, start the 25-year clock on TIF funds.
Cool. Thank you. Thoughts on this?
So Jeff, the idea then, you wouldn't want to put it into a TIF before the development starts, so you can have the maximum period of time on
Yeah.
that
You want to,
tax generation.
theoretically, the perfect time to do it is when, as soon as they issue the improvement location permit. And then it's still assessed at the old amount. So if you TIF it in 2021, and it's based on the 2021 assessment numbers, and then if theoretically, a new building would get reassessed in 2022, and then you start getting the gain as soon as possible. You don't want to wait till 2022, because then you might get it at the new value. So you want to get it, if you're off by a year, you want to be off a year early rather
Sooner.
than a year late. Yep.
Okay.
Can you take something out of an existing TIF district and recreate a small TIF district to start that 25-year clock?
Yes.
again?
Yeah.
Good point. So that was the only thought I had on this from what we got from Ken. Steve, you're thinking awful hard here. What's up?
Well, I've been on record regarding just being very careful about how much we do TIF, because we are taking away.
I think it's an
Hey, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, the larger the TIF district, the more money we do take away from the general fund, correct?
No, you don't take, well, that's always a good argument that people like to have on both sides. There are detractors on TIF.
Yeah.
There absolutely are. The defenders of TIF would say that you're not taking anything out of the general fund, that you're only taking gain that you identify at the time you TIF it.
Right.
So it doesn't go down. The amount that actually gets distributed doesn't go down. It's just that bit of difference that would be allocated 50% to the county and a certain percentage to our schools and a certain percentage to our libraries and parks would all come to this body to decide what to do with it. So, yes, if there would be no TIF at all, if this body, for instance, didn't exist, then yeah, the more we take in on TIF, the less. Now, here's where that comes into play though a little bit. This body has an opportunity to offer incentives through TIF bonding and things like that that could create, at least arguably, not arguably, it could create business opportunities that would not otherwise exist, but for the incentives you guys can give.
Right.
And so the proponents of TIF always come back and say, well, yeah, but the only reason the gain came is because of us.
Right.
So we should, it's very good faith arguments on both sides.
Yes. That's all I have. That's all I had for right now.
Hey, Craig, where are you talking about the expansion of the TIF?
It's probably what you're looking at right there. Yeah, this area.
This whole area?
Mhm.
Because right now it stops right,
Back here, I think.
okay.
So these are the new quadrant, yeah. This is all the new area that
Yeah,
will soon be,
redevelopment.
well, someday be developed.
And then TIF is a part of it. That's the tax allocation area. Yeah.
But is the new wellness center already in the TIF?
Yeah, yes,
Okay,
yes.
so this area is
Black
already
thing,
in
the
the
black
TIF.
thing is the.
Yes, right.
So you're talking about like this
That's
over here, expanding it?
Really anything on the other side of 69.
Gotcha.
That's the TIF district.
That's what this plan that Ken
That's
did
not
for us
there.
really addresses the stuff. It does include the stuff next to the wellness center, because that, I forget what quadrant that's called, the health and wellness
Oh,
or
is that
something
what we
like
have?
that. And
Okay, so.
Falls
One
Point Health
is-
and Wellness District, yeah.
one is technology district and one is residential, and so,
Multifamily res,
yeah.
yeah.
So it does include that, but the expansion of the TIF district, in my mind, would be on the other side of 69.
Okay.
Where the old Board Warner building was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
TIF district is a subset of
Yeah.
EDA. Yep.
We good?
Good.
You good, Scott? We have anything else on Interstate Quadrant Master Plan?
How do we foresee this going forward? Like, after, do we need another month to kind of sit on this to make sure that the RDC is good with this and then take it to Plan Commission? Or,
If the redevelopment commission is happy today, we could you could direct Kayla and myself and Scott to take it to the plan commission for formal approval, and then, of course, it goes to the council, would be the final tax.
Right. I don't have a problem with it.
I don't see why we need to wait another month to chew on it.
No. Dan, are you good with it?
Yeah, from what I've seen, it looks great, but I would definitely defer to you guys right now, having done the work to get it here.
Lynn, are you okay with it? She is.
Thumbs up.
Yep.
Let's do that then. Do we need a resolution
You could just make invite a motion to
Or
direct
motion.
Kayla to take it to that the RDC approves, and to direct her to take it to the plan commission for the next step toward a final approval.
So we'll make a motion that the RDC approves the plan, and that we ask Kayla and Jeff and Scott to take it to the planning commission for their approval. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Or raising a thumb, which a thumb has been raised. Oh, wait, we have, now we can hear you.
Oh, great.
While we have her up, we couldn't see the thumbs up when you approved the minutes. You were thumbs up on the minutes, right? You were a yes.
Yep.
but-
Yes, yes.
Thank you. So, motion passes. Please move forward with that as best you can, and let us know what we need to do if we need to do anything else. Thank you, Gail.
Thank you, Kayla.
All right, the visioning discussion. Really, that we kind of just had it a little bit. I asked Scott to put together some numbers, and we'll just do B and C at the same time. So, visioning and financial budget for the TIF district. We are in a spot right now where we can't do a lot, but we can certainly start planning for what we're going to do, and we can do things again. And so I asked Scott to run some numbers and let us know what we've got here and what we can start planning for.
So, I think I put this spreadsheet before you before, and what it is just 20 years out, based on the report that we received from Baker Tilly in May, where it breaks them down into the EDAs, and then it has a list of the expenditures and the timeline left on some of the EDAs. So, if you, do you have the spreadsheet? I know the numbers are small. So it starts out with the revenue from the different EDAs. And, so those are based on, as it goes forward, you can tell that that is based on, as if nothing changed at this point, which it will, but for right now, we don't know what that's gonna be and when that's gonna happen. So I just assumed it was static all the way across. And then payments, which are in the report if you wanna dig into that, broken out by EDA. The big one, of course, is, for the new water treatment plant. And, the bond that we used to resurface the roads when we annexed the county roads into the town. Then the next, probably most interesting one is EDA number 1 is the payments to the wellness center and how that was structured. So if you remember, it's what do we call that type of abatement where there is no abatement, but yet we look at the revenues that we received from the wellness center and then we
Put it back in.
Put it back in.
That's a TIF finance.
TIF finance, thank you. So you subtract revenues minus our obligations, that leaves what's TIF available, and then this is for 2021. These are the expenditures that I know roughly the way I've allocated some of those. The major one to look at is under US 36 and 67. So there's some engineering going on in that, and then the construction happens in 23, and I put down 600,000 because that assumes roughly Pendleton's portion. We're teaming up with NDOT on this. Our 20% match of roughly $3 million worth of construction would be 600,000, and that. But I will tell you, NDOT keeps insisting that they're going to stay on schedule for 23, but anybody that's been in the civil engineering business like I have for 20 years knows that it's got to get bumped to 24, 25. And also, which is good with me, because the longer we can delay, the longer that gets delayed, the better chance of the federal monies for infrastructure that are coming down the line. We're going to take advantage of that and hopefully not need even that 20%. But I think the worst case scenario, and I won't even go into it, worst case scenario, we're stuck with a $3 million cost, but most likely we'll end up with a 2080 match for funds from either the MPO or some sort of infrastructure funds. That's the key, because in 23, if you go down to the total, it shows what our cash flow is basically going to be, and in that year, if we do pull out the 600,000, it puts us in a negative cash flow. This year, it's going to pretty much be a zero cash flow. And then after we get through that construction, you can see the way the cash flow looks projected out over certain years. And there was a formula problem with the spreadsheet we discovered today, so I think we corrected all of them. But if anybody sees anything that stands out.
What's the drop in 2031?
2031.
We go from 369,080 to 187,001.
Yeah, I just caught that. Why does it drop? Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
so
revenues, thank you.
it's at the end of the
Revenues
Yeah.
from
Okay.
Wait, something's wrong. Yeah, revenue drop from EDA one, which is, brings in roughly $742,000, it drops off. So that's what the reason is. But you also have an obligation.
The offset expense kind of.
Right, the obligations to the two bonds drop off too.
So we're really restricted on what we can do until the project gets done down, or federal funding comes through.
Funds, right.
Yeah. So we're kind of on hold to
Yeah.
a certain extent.
We will know, Kayla and I are both very frustrated with this, that project, and I could go into more detail with it, but we cannot get a handle on how this is gonna, the timeline's gonna play out, and what we're gonna be left paying for. So they're basically, just a reminder, they're gonna add a travel lane in 67, all the way through town. And then, so because of the high school, we're gonna add some pedestrian safety, which means some medians. INDOT's gonna force us to have some medians in there, but we'll add some other ones that are pedestrian, for pedestrian safety reasons, and we're gonna put trails along there. Cause the kids, they just willy-nilly run across 67, across 38. There's no sidewalk for them to go to, there's no median for them for safe haven. They get caught between the lights.
Surprised no one's been hit down there. It's crazy.
So, at the time, it couldn't be worse for the town, but they're not gonna come back and reconstruct and add travel lanes. If we don't do it now, then the lost opportunity is 30 years out.
Hmm.
And by then, the town will be at 40,000 and oh boy. So, we just gotta eat it. We just gotta accept it.
And the MPO won't have any additional funds until
Yeah.
26,
Yeah, 26.
at least.
Right. But we put in some, there's a joint grant on this with the MPO and us, they put in for that, a ready grant. And like I said, I think what we're sort of gambling is that there will be infrastructure money for this, and we'll be shovel ready. That's the gamble.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you this, I've seen this before, 2 cycles where there was a lot of federal money. If you're not shovel ready, you probably will miss out. So we will be shovel ready. In fact, we're almost to, what phase of design are we in? We're well into the design process.
What I've heard too about that phase, or that stretch of 36, 67 there, between 36 and 38, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That is the second busiest stretch of roadway in Madison County, excepting 69, obviously, next to Scatterfield Road at 69 up in Anderson.
Wow.
So there's that, and then there's our little stretch of
That little stretch.
36.
My God.
Has the highest traffic count.
Wow.
And of course, the accident rate there is,
What is the traffic count there
I don't know.
per day?
I don't know off the top of my head, but we could find out for you.
I'd be curious, yeah.
Yeah. Can you put that on the notes that we can find out what that is?
When I sold the furniture store, Orms,
Yeah.
it was 18,000 at that time.
Traffic
What year
count?
was that? What year?
When was this?
God, at least 10,
Yeah.
10, 12 years ago at least.
As a daily driver, it's high. I drive up there every day. It's getting higher.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to do these things if we're gonna be the town we wanna be, because
Yeah.
Critical.
everybody's encroaching from all sides now.
Right, okay, we're gonna also, we wanna get part of the town's, what the town's paying for is, lighting.
Yeah.
It looks like the lights, the street lights here. Medians will be nice, they'll be grass, at least eventually. We may have to phase that in. That's another thing that may happen here, we may phase in some of the construction. But it's also, the other thing too, it's, dollars, we're saving, percentage, because we don't have to purchase the right of way, we don't have to do the construction inspection. Probably a lot of the drainage will get picked up by endowments, all of that. A lot of the design costs are actually, if we were doing a standalone project, we would have a lot more design costs. We're piggybacking off a bigger NDOT project, adding our things to their project.
Good way to go. All right, any questions about this from the commission?
The other thing I have too, just as of the end of the month to close out the two accounts that we have, it shows the dollar amount. If you go to Bank Zero, the second page, you'll see where they received revenues, and then they dispersed a lot of the obligations already. So your cash on hand right now is roughly $490,000 minus whatever has been expended in August.
Cool. Any questions, any other questions for Scott about this?
No, not for me.
Thank you, Scott. Lynn, you good?
I'm good. Good work, friends.
Thank you.
All right, good. Thank you for that, Scott. Appreciate it. And Kayla. For the new business, we're gonna table this. There's more work that needs to be done on this project, so that's being tabled. So we don't have to deal with that. Anything else from any of the commissioners? Steve, Dan? Lynn?
Oh,
Craig, I did upload a presentation, Farnborough actually, it was,
Oh, yeah.
presentation presented by IMPA and Okra, or at an IMPA and Okra event back in 2017. And, I went ahead and just included, I scanned it, included it in your Google Drive folder because I thought it was a really helpful explanation of TIF. And it had this great graphic that shows how it works, so, anyway, it was a really good, just laying it out, here's how TIF districts work. So
Fantastic.
I kept it and figured it might be helpful to you guys.
Thank you, Kayla. Looking out for us.
I like to keep things in folders. Can I have a hard copy of that also too? Thank you.
All right. If we don't have anything else to discuss, or no other questions from the commission or the staff, I'll call this, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Let me do that.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
second.
Thank you. Seconds from everyone. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Good job, everybody.
Yeah.
Dan, again, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Let us know if you have questions or concerns or anything.
Excellent, I will.
Denise is good about getting everything out, so you'll be receiving lots of stuff.
Great.
Let us know if we can be of any help.
Okay,
I'm sorry, what do you do?
I'm chairman and CEO of Citizen State Bank.
Oh,
Yeah,
excellent.
Here, yeah, so,
Fantastic.
yeah, some finance, banking world.
We couldn't ask for a better person.
Well, we'll see.
Oh, sure.
Denise, just leave the iPad here.
Yeah, she just picks them up. Yep.
Sounds good.